Classic 263 Radio brings you the program Music and the Law with your host, Terrence Mapurisana.
Good day and welcome to the program Music and the Law on Classic 263 Radio. Not too long ago, the Zimbabwe Music Rights Association, Zimura, declared there was no copyright infringement on one of John Chibadura's classic songs, which the late Sungura music legend's surviving family had claimed was illegally used as the 2022 FIFA World Cup soundtrack by SuperSport TV. I'm Terrence Mapurisana, and to discuss this further, I have in the studio music producer, artist, and award winner who recently graduated in music business, musicology, and technology degree with the Midlands State University, Mono Mukundu of Monolio Studios. Congratulations, Mono, and welcome to the program.
Thanks, Terrence, and I'm looking forward to a present.
Great. It's on its way, my brother. First thing is first, Mono. How does it feel to have graduated with a degree in music business, musicology, and technology?
I'm very excited. What even step change? I'm very excited about it because it's something that I've been longing for a long time, and it was also very difficult to finish off the degree because of COVID and other issues. So I'm very, very much excited.
Okay. And how is your degree perhaps going to benefit other artists since you are also a music producer?
Yeah, the degree is also benefiting other artists a lot because of late I've been doing a lot of workshops and masterclasses where I explain copyright law, where I explain how to go about in the music industry. Because as you know, with the music industry, talent is not enough. You need strategy. So strategy is one thing that's very much lacking at the present moment. So as we speak, artists are already benefiting from that degree. Yeah.
Now, how does technology come in as part of your degree?
Okay, it comes in because recording is part of technology. And so there are modules within the degree that teaches recording, mixing, mastering, production, even video technology. I'm sure if you notice, my video editing is improved ever since I
tremendous, quite a lot.
Yeah, so it's part of the degree as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Now let's get into our topic of the day, Mono. John Chibadura's family had sought legal advice from Zimura, believing that a song played on the popular sport channel, one of the official broadcasters of the World Cup in Qatar, had infringed on the hit classic, that's Mudiwa Janet, without its consent and knowledge. The song is from the album Reggae Hits, released way back in 1989. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritties of this issue here, take us through what is copyright infringement.
Okay. First of all, what is known as copyright is the right of a creator of any work to allow anybody to use their work or to stop them from using their work. So if someone uses your work without your permission, they've infringed your copyright. So copyright is it's a two-letter word, or it's a combination of two words. It's copy and write. So the right, the permission for you to copy somebody's work, you need to be given permission by the owner of that work. Because copyright law originated in England. You know, the times where Kudara, when people were still very few people who were literate during the time Western world, Europe. So that time, it was copyright law. There was no need for copyright law because there were very few people who could read and write, and there was no printing machine. So if you wanted to copy a book, to write everything word for word, and it took ages. So there was no need for copyright law. But when the printing press was invented by Gutenberg, I think it was around the 15th century, books were now being printed it was now mass production. So authors started complaining with the because people are making money out of our works. That's when the copyright law came to be. I think the first one was a statute known as the Statute of Anne. It was passed in England by the English Parliament, and so first of all, it just protected my authors in my books.
Okay.
But later on, past time with my convention, my world convention, they started including my musicians, my actors, and then past it my conventions for Patanga include what they call neighboring rights. Your neighboring rights, it also protects people like you, my broadcasters. If I compose a song, I own the copyright of the song, I'm protected under copyright law, but if someone performs it, they also need to be protected for it.
Okay, no, that's fine. We'll get deeper into that. But my next question is, are the musicians aware of these issues?
As you can tell with this case, with this Chibadura case, you can notice that the majority of our musicians are not aware. And I'm sure you've noticed a number of cases where even music producers approach Zimura complaining, where's my money? Achitopopota knows how to popota mazon pa Facebook is fashionable. But achipopota but arum sango futi. Asingatozi diatori on the wrong side. So the majority of musicians, they are not fully aware of copyright law. They just know that they are protected, but they don't know protected kushika papi. But unfortunately, they don't want to attend workshops.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Now, let's say in this scenario, John Chibadura was represented by his sons, let's just say family. Perhaps they are also musicians. What does it take for our local musicians to be educated on these matters?
These days it's very easy to research because some people say Google is your friend. You can even research, look for reliable sources and learn on your own from researching on the internet, or you can buy books, or you can attend workshops. But like I said before, our artists, they don't want to attend workshops. So at times that's
why is that so?
I don't really know, because I think it's something to do with ego or something.
I've had the same sentiments when I was interviewing some members from Zimura as well.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. Because I remember last year there's a law firm who dedicated their time to conscientize musicians on copyright law, and they offered free workshops. And I told them, you'll be lucky if you get even kind of 5 people child. So they sent messages and adverts to my WhatsApp groups all over. And 2 days before the workshop, they called me and said, we are cancelling because no one is registered. And I told them that's the problem with the Zimbabwean arts industry. No one wants to participate in workshops. Even association Jayema musicians, it's not even working because no one wants to join.
Very unfortunate. Now, moving on, you were part of the panel that set in order to try and come up with an answer to the issue of copyright infringement. That is on the 14th of December, 2022. And a statement by Zimura then stated that, and found out rather, that no copyright infringement on the Chibadura song was done. What prompted the Chibadura family to come up with this decision?
I think it was prompted by reports on social media. There are some social media users who raised the issue after they heard the song on Supersport and claimed that it sounded similar to John Chibadura's Mudiwa Janet. So when they picked it up, they thought their rights had been infringed, and I think they took the right step to inquire about it. But the good thing is...
were they sounding the same?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In the technicalities of music, there is what is known as a chord progression. So a chord progression, no one owns a chord progression. And there are thousands of songs that use the same chord progressions. So the Chibadura song and the World Cup song, they both have the same chord progression. But what are known as melodies, they are different.
Okay, all right. I hear there was a thorough research and analysis of the song under comparison
Yeah.
that you guys investigated. Now take us through the analysis and perhaps the comparison.
Okay.
I know you're talking of chord progressions and things like that.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'll have to go a bit technical.
Yeah.
They are what are known as chord progressions. Chord progression is the harmonic flow or the template where songs are written or where melodies are created. I can give an example. For example, if I play like... So in this chord progression, I can sing thousands of songs. For example, stir it up. Na, 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 stir it up. That's Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, yeah.
But on the same chord progression, I can sing, I'm going back to my roots. Yeah, Lucky
Dube, yeah.
You see, per guitar I'm playing the same thing, but I've sung two different songs by two different artists. But what makes the songs different is the melody that was being sung. What we call a melody is that element of a song that you can whistle. Because you don't whistle the drums, you don't whistle the percussion, you whistle that element. Da, 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 da. So if you put words on that melody, I'm going back. So the chords are just the same. But what makes it different is the melody. And if we come to the melody that was played on the bass line, the Bob Marley bass line was... and Lucky Dube's bass line was... But if you play the chords, it's dum, 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 then Bob Marley dum, 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 dum. So what I'm playing on the rhythm on the acoustic guitar is exactly the same. But what's different is the melodies that were played on the bass lines, on the vocals, on the keyboards and everything. So coming back to the Chibadura song,
Mudiwa Janet song,
yeah,
and the World Cup theme song.
Yeah, they use exactly the same chords. And for your own information, that Mudiwa Janet song uses the same chord progression as Dream of a Brighter Day. The same chord progression. That chord progression has been there for thousands of years.
Oh, yes.
It's not even John Chibadura who created it.
Ah, yes.
So if it was something that, if it was something that was infringed, it means John Chibadura was also supposed to be sued as well. Because it's chord progression here. Because it's a chord progression that contains thousands of songs. So basically what happens in the music industry is chord progressions are the same. Or I can say there are very few chord progressions. 99% of Sungura songs, they use the same chord progression, which is known in technical terms as 1-4-1-5. And if you watch on Sungura, on YouTube, I did a YouTube video, a tutorial, where I played one instrumental, then I played about 7 to 10 songs per lead guitar. You could tell that this song is Sharai Leonard Dembo. This song is Yakati System Tasvida. This is One Way, Simon Chimbetu, but on the same instrumental. So if you are able to sing 2 songs or 3 songs or whatever number of songs on the same instrumental, it means those songs have got the same chord progression.
So what was the verdict?
So the verdict was that the World Cup song used the same chord progression which was used by John Chibadura, but no one owns it. John Chibadura so no one
He
owns
probably
it.
took it from someone else, isn't it?
It's either from someone else or he just experimented with these. Because what happens with music is even Manotse music show, they're just 12. But with those same 12 notes, ndopanobuda classical music, ndopanobuda reggae music, ndopanobuda sungura music, ndopanobuda jazz, ndopanobuda kwaito, ndopanobuda amapiano, ndopanobuda night, on the same 12 notes. So music is always circulating. But the creativity comes when it's about creating the melodies.
Now you are reminding me, you recorded a lady called Rati some other time. And she did a song which is more similar to Ishmael Law.
Okay.
And if you listen to the instrumentation before you hear the voice, because she does sing in Shona, you think it's the song by Ishmael Law.
Yeah.
Is that the same issue? of chord progression, or this time you actually had to ask for permission?
There are two things. You can use the same chord progression, or you can use the same techniques. Or you can use the same chord progression with a certain song and then use the same techniques used by that other song. That way you have not infringed any copyright, because the same techniques. For example, I remember Ishmael Law song.
The one that I'm talking about is called Tajabon.
It says something like that. So in this case, I shall some open strings. So I'm not going to share some open strings the way of footing, which play the same chord progression, but who's got the melody.
Okay.
Yeah, mango shansa same style. Quand no going to same chord progression in the style ya somebody. For example, no going to like Tuku. But usina song ya Tuku ya watora. That's not copyright infringement. Because copying someone's style is not infringement.
Okay, if you have just joined us, the program is Music and the Law right here on Classic 263 Radio, and I'm joined by Mono Mukundu. Now, Mono, learning from this case, what is your advice to other local musicians after your findings and conclusion?
I think it's very important for musicians to attend workshops so that they know what are their rights and they know when their rights are being infringed. Because like I said before, artists don't want to attend workshop, and we are always having cases where they complain that their rights have been infringed when nothing has happened. And there's one issue that's always arising is the issue of music producers, especially those who produce dancehall and hip hop. Because in dancehall and hip hop, they've got rhythm culture or a beat or beats culture, where the producer creates an instrumental on his own. Yotopera instrumental, yes, Yotopera. And then the artist just comes just to add
to ride on it.
Yeah, to ride on it. So according to copyright law, if I create my own instrumental on my own,
are those guys really creators, or they take those instruments from? I remember Jamaican.
Some do create, some plagiarize, but there are some who do create the show from zero.
Okay.
So if you create your own instrumental, urwega, and then somebody comes and sings on top of your instrumental, it means you are part of the composers. It means you own 50% of the copyright. So it's 50% to the creator of the beat or the creator of the rhythm, and then 50% to the one who is going to sing on top. And most producers don't know about it. So I change one go gazara my rhythm and then at the end of the day, Waruto lose a lot of money. But on much panos discover much they go and shout kuzimura uti Murundi bira mari yangu utat no. But number kubira you never registered and you never asked one. And the iningesi moswa zimura uti I was zive mtemo. Imoswa yako because you don't attend my workshops.
So who was part of the panel?
It was me, a gentleman called Dr. Dredd. He's based in South Africa, and
his name is Terrence Mapakula.
And Pastor Charamba.
Okay, no, that's fine. So now this whole issue of infringement, copyright. Does it also include issues such as the melodies, the arrangements, the chord progression that you talked about, and perhaps the chord sequence?
Okay. The essence of copyright is a melody. If you steal somebody's melody, that's the essence of copyright. I can give you an example. For example, the song Chemtengure, Chemtengure. If you take the melody of Waimbochi, do you notice something similar? The words are different, but the melody
is the same.
That's
Are these what you call folklore songs?
Yeah, exactly. But the issue is on the melody. Then you walk up, you have maintained the melody, but you have changed the words. It's still plagiarism. In fact, the essence of plagiarism, because when it comes to plagiarism or composition, the most difficult thing to compose is the melody. But you some words kupora ndino vanhu vanozoita kuti vanotora song yemuchechi wese ava mawords vanotora even in politics it happens a lot. That way haungati wacomposer, you have simply added your own words to a pre-existing melody, just like translating the national anthem from one language to the other. You can't say you've composed. So plagiarism, the essence of plagiarism, it's plagiarizing or copying somebody's melody of what in the yako. That's plagiarism. But when it comes to chord sequence or chord progression, no one owns any chord progression. Because my chord progressions, they've been there for thousands of years. And like I mentioned before, especially Sungura, 99% of Sungura songs, they use the same chord progression. But I'm sure that's one reason why Sungura is failed to go international. Because if you listen to Mbira music, there are dozens and dozens of chord progressions. And Kanama songs, any same chord progression, you can sing the same things or up on the second song, by instrumental a second song, by instrumental a third song. But ukaya kumbira tikaridza nehondo yeah. Awukwanisa kuimba chemutengure ipapo. That means those two songs have got different chord progressions. So kumbira there is a variety of chord progressions. And ukatarisa muno muZimbabwe hakuna music yata exporter outside Zimbabwe more than Mbira music. Because Mbira music is very diverse.
Okay, yeah, it is very diverse. We do have this John Shibadura Mudiwa genetics example right here in Zimbabwe. Any other examples that we can cite, perhaps internationally or regionally?
Internationally, there was a case where Pharrell was accused of plagiarizing Marvin Gaye's song, Healing. He went to court and
I remember reading about that as well.
He lost the court case. But other artists were complaining that Pama judges, they should have included musicologists or musicians who really know.
Now that you are a musicologist.
Yeah, I now fit it.
Great stuff.
Yeah. So musicians were complaining that they should have included musicologists because that judgment was very unfair because he simply used the same chord progression and different melodies. But he lost it because the judging panel did not include musicians. It was just people who knew the law but who knew nothing about music or the technicalities of music.
That's why we call this program Music and the Law.
Yeah.
My question again will be, do we need to go to school as musicians to know these issues in depth? What could be the way forward?
You can go to school or you can simply learn on your own, or you can even, like I mentioned for the 20th time, attend workshops. So it's not just about schools. You can learn in the street, like I learned to play in the streets, but later on that was the academic side, so that I know the academic side. But I learned how to play in the street. Even my first theory teacher was Isaac Chiro. I did not go to school. But by the time I ended college of music, I was very much well versed with music theory. Because I did school, Isaac Chiro, not kuchikoro. So you don't have to go to school, although when I school but kanosina time yacho, kanosina mari yacho, kanosina interest yacho, you can still learn all these things in the street.
You record quite a number of artists, not only from Zimbabwe, but from those beyond our borders. Do you come across such scenarios as well of copyright infringements, and what do you do when you find out that this artist is actually having a problem in coming up with his or her own composition? Do you give advice?
Yeah, I do. In fact, most of my recording sessions, sometimes they end up as lecture sessions. And some artists even bring out my cameras to record discuss. And answering your first question, 2 weeks ago I was recording somebody, and the melodies that he was using were Leonard Dembo melodies. Then by my words, and he didn't know that it's plagiarism. So he thought just because there's an angle my words, it's I own it. So I gave him advice that no, this is plagiarism. You need to seek permission from the Dembo family. So he approached them right now at Pagapema Talks. So I meet those cases a lot because a lot of people are not aware that it's not on the copyright infringement. Was workshops, some theories in streets. Because like right now in Zimbabwe we no longer have my record labels. saka ma-record labels ndo vamwe vaisimbo-advisa a lot ma-artists on the legal matters and even on the business matters generally wana, but just because hatisina ma-record labels inochaunyeushanda ma-theories emstreet. That's why you know at times when I speak at times I'm heckled because at times.
What do you mean by street theories?
Ekuti unozoti mazano munhu wese ukangomubvunza kuti ndichipi chinofaya kumusic anotokudza imwe statement yakatsetseka so ende inotobelievika but ari musango. Ndosandotaura kuti ine times when I speak I'm heckled because at times I speak my truths are very unpopular achiopozana nemanyepo are very well marketed and well advertised. Saka ukazosumuka wotoudza vanhu kuti guys zvamuri kuita izvi hapana kwamunosvika nemusic, vanhu vanotopopota then vamwe vanotozobhelieve pane mumwe wana akatozondibata after approach a record label yekusouth africa so sony kweko vatozonno music yako you can't sell it because of abc and those abc zvakaliswa zvacho is exactly what I told you. But just because I'm black, just because handisi murungu, just because I'm not as popular as him, pandakatanga kuzvitaura akaramba kuzviteerera.
Right, Mono, if the Chibadura family had won this case, how much would they have raked in?
Chinonetsa nchoti every time panoitika ma-copyright issues, I think the majority of them are settled out of court. The biggest majority of them. Safeguard mazita. If you remember the 2010 one foot yanga in plagiarism case, but that one was genuine. It went in because pampakatobiwa sangarewa yeku Cameroon here na Shakira. So if I'm not mistaken, I think yaka settle out of court foot. Saka just daronzi pa udiswa mari. So what usually happens pama out of court cases, munhu anenge asingadi kusvibisa zita rake anozongoku approach ngoti asha ngatingomire kutaura to the press ndakaubira zvishuwa saka uruda mari wabva wataura munhu obva piwa chi mamillions ake. And usually if it's an international song like this hapaitobuda mamillion paitobuda mamillion masvinu chaizvo zvoti tikadai vaitokwanisa kuti tikweretisawo senyika.
All right, I think before we go and wrap up this program, Music and the Law, your final word to artists, composers, instrumentalists in terms of music. What can we do in terms of making sure that our music is scaling greater heights without some of these challenges?
What I would like to say is, first of all, talent is not enough in the music industry. Strategy is everything. There's one around the world, there are artists who have got zero talent, but they've got money. One. So
how is that so?
It's very possible. I can give an example. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. And of course, I've been with the daughter in the show. Jennifer Lopez. So Anita Maji, kana uchinyora songs network uimba iwewe inonzi referencing. Unotoimba iwewe so that munhu anokwanisa kunzwa kuti inofanira kuimbwa sei because vanhu vazhinji havatombogonai zvekuverenga music zvezvo. Saka hanzi Jennifer Lopez times akapiwa music kazhinji kacho voice reference ringe kana riri mukadzi rinobva rangosiyiwa riripo ringobata kuti mauto chinhu zvoti motofunga kuti ndiye ari kuimba.
Over the course of Jennifer's career, she has stolen the vocals of other artists and passed them off as if they were her.
Because iye wacha she's not a good singer. As a result, aitotsvinyurwa na Mariah Carey achinzi maalbums akanenge ari compilation albums because pane a lot of artists vakaimba ipapo. But kuAmerica manje they worship beauty. So an artist can be popular just because she's beautiful. Unenge wakanaka une body yakanaka ungoimbirwa mustudio. Then when you perform live azvinetsi unoisirwa backtrack risina mama instruments. Saka band rinotooneka richiridza zvishuwa but voice rako rinoramba voice rako rinenge rakakavhirwa nevoice rakarekodwa mashure kudhara. That has been done for decades. Wangoita munyama Emily Vanelli wakabatwa paipai. But ukatarisa Bonnie M chaiyo that guy aimba pa Bonnie M boya hapana chaimba ya voice ranga rakatoimba kudhara na producer wachanzi Frank Farian is the same producer futi akazita Emily Vanelli.
Yeah, no Frank Farian.
Yeah. So Jennifer Lopez chipa but ane mari.
Does that happen in reggae music as well? Because it seems it's all in other contemporary stuff.
So spread worldwide. So another example is Madonna. Of course, I'm avoiding my local musicians because ndiri muno muZimbabwe.
But we do have them.
Vasina zvipo muno mutinawo.
We do have
them. Vamwe vacho panotoni 1 nembiri isingaite. And ukangomenshina chete kuti anemba off-key show yese aunotakwa nemabwe zvekuti aunoitwa kanyama. But in fact iye hatitombooti abuda mukiba because anenge asinombobvira apinde because munhu anonzi abuda kamunhu ambopinda. But iye haataurwi zita rake manje ukatitaura. Saka I'm not going to mention any local artist. I'm just going to mention foreign artists.
So how do they learn now if we don't mention their names?
Ndotakwa nemabwe. Ndisinotakwa nemabwe. But anyway, people just chidzidzo vanochibata zvavo. Tikatosa artists like Madonna.
Yes.
Pane pakawina Best Life Act. Elton John akatokwira pastage akati, how can you give Best Life Act nemunhu anoshandisa anomaima pastage?
Since when has lip syncing been live?
Because Madonna is never sang live. Pese panemba pese anoshandisa backtrack. Pando neimwe video Justin Bieber, microphone yakadonha mucrowd so. Vatokumbira in terms of mic but voice rutezi rukuramba richiimba. I'm coming back to the point that talent is not enough.
Yes,
there are people with mari music vasina talent.
So is going to school important to learn music?
It's important because kanochenda kuchikoro manje ka education haikupe mari. Education it elevates your consciousness. Saka inokudzidzisa how to think and nekukupa information. Kana wakuda mari ine principles ayo. Ona kana upinda music industry kune principles ako futi. So you can use knowledge yawanako with your elevated consciousness and use it to improve yourself ku music kuita mari. But kudzidza pachako akuitise mari. Ona. So I don't know kandapindira papo. But point yandodota ndekuti music industry you need a strategy. Ona. Strategy on how to run with music and even genre of music yaunosarudza chaichai. You need a strategy. And chimwe chinhu chiri kuleka vanhu pauri kurasika vazhinji mazonoka. Iye kunzanzi ame versatile artist wemba sungura wemba jazz wemba chi on the same album.
Yeah, I do have a problem with
that's
that.
A mistake.
I do have a problem.
Ukatasa worldwide kuna king of reggae that's Bob Marley, king of Chimurenga that's Thomas Mapfumo, queen of soul Aretha Franklin. There's no king of everything. Ukatasa even Jimmy Cliff ku Jamaica. The reason why Jimmy Cliff asinga respect kwe sezvakaita wana Bob Marley wana Dennis Brown and everything because aingotera matrends. Chakati chikaita mbiri atera madomasi akufamba aiko chakati ndo chakurira utirire koko. But ukatasa vese wakaita ma icons aitozikanwa kunzi uyu ndewembira kana usingadzidi siyana naye. Chionisa aingozikanwa ndewembira. It doesn't mean Chionisa asingagona R&B. Aigona. And she was even born in the States. She was an American citizen.
Mono, I'm sure we can go on and on and talk forever.
Well, it's monosophical. It is what it is. We say it like it.